Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Amin Nabitin Mashukri with my fleet number 1715800. So this is the part that I'm going to present to you. First of all, I'm going to introduce to you what is feminism. And the second one, I'm gonna explain a little bit about classification of feminism. And the third one, I'm going to tell you about the reaction toward feminism that existed in United States. Okay, then we're going to enter the introduction to feminism. So as you can see in the picture, society always think that feminism meant to overpower or get rid of the men. But actually feminism is about women try to find liberation and have their rights being respected by the society. So what is feminism? Feminism was defined as the belief and aim that women should have the same rights and opportunities as men. In another definition, it was a belief in and advocacy of the political, economic, and social equality of the sexes, which is male and female, expressed especially through organized activity on behalf of women's rights and interests. So basically, feminism is all about the equality for women in aspects such as social, economic, and political. So it means that women equal to men. So historically, feminism rose in response to Western tradition that restricted the rights of women. So feminism is all about the movement to gain their right and against the restricted right that they should have, that what they're supposed to have. But feminist thought has global manifestation and variation due to different culture. Well, feminist is all over the world, so they have different manifestation and variation because of that. Yeah. Then we move to the basic principle of feminism. So here we have four. The first one is working to increase equality, which is obviously between male and female. And the second one is spending human choice. Why they put human choice there? Because male and female are human beings, are the same human beings. So every human being on this earth deserve the same opportunity and the same rights. For example, a woman wants to be a mechanic, which is a word that usually dominated by the male. So she should be given the opportunity for it. And the third one is eliminating gender stratification, which is normally they said that only male could be the leader, but female also could be the leader. And the fourth one is ending sexual violence toward the female. So what actually triggered the feminism movement? It is because of the rising of pornography, sex industry, prostitution, and trafficking, which is the feminist thing. There were kind of exploitation towards women, which is male dominance over women. So that's what triggered the feminism movement. And then why the feminism is relevant in present days or in this modern day? Because of until now, after hundreds of years, women are still fighting to be given all the same rights and chances that men have always received. For example, women earn less money for the same job that a man does. So in a studies in 2014, women earn 78 cents of every dollar earned by men. Inequality such as this is the reason why feminism is still necessary till now. Another situation was many women were being abused and violated, and they are not being defended. Thus, their rights should be more elevated and spread it wider to society, especially to the men. However, in my opinion, there are some issues that were not relevant to be debated that issued by the feminists. For example, free the nipples. It's about why men can be shirtless and show theirs on the social media, why women can't, which is absolutely irrelevant for me. Okay, then we move to the second point, which is classification of feminism. Here I'm going to present to you about five types of feminism. Type of feminism is liberal feminism. So liberal feminism seeks individualistic equality of men and women through political and legal reform without altering the structure of society. So two important issues to liberal feminists are equality in wage work and also gender inequalities in housework. So another issues that has been highlighted by the liberal feminism is reproductive and abortion rights, sexual harassment, voting, education, affordable childcare, affordable healthcare, sexual and domestic violence against men. So technically, liberal rooted in Enlightenment's philosophy, which is all men are created equal. So liberal feminism also was the first of the feminism to develop growing up from the liberalism that originated in 18th century. So liberal feminism is about women and men are equal. So they deserve the equal rights. Then we move to the second type of feminism, which is radical feminism. So the word radical means relating to the root. Radical feminists believe that society is extremely patriarchal, which is male dominance over female in the society, and until patriarchy is transformed on all levels, the system remains unjust. So radical feminist views patriarchy as dividing rights, privileges, and power primarily by gender, and as a result, it's kind of oppressing women and privileging the men. Thus, the need for dramatic social change, such like dismantle the entire system of patriarchy in order to achieve genuine equality for women, are needed, absolutely needed by this radical feminism. So radical feminists tend to be more militant or extreme in their approach than other feminism. Okay, the third one is Marxist or socialist feminism. It can be defined as those feminists who are concerned with challenging capitalism as well as male supremacy or patriarchy. So it's a form of feminism based on the ideas of Marx that ignited the idea of when we are able to end of class oppression, then it will be the end of gender oppression also. So Marxist or social feminism aims to overthrow the current social order to end all forms of exploitation and create a society which maleness and femaleness are socially irrelevant, which means there's no male and female, there's no rich or poor, all are the same. Okay, then it's cultural feminism. So cultural feminists believe that there are fundamental biological differences between men and women, such as personality and behavior, that make women are seen to have superior virtues than men. So they believe that if women rule the world, there will be no more war because women are known as a gentle human beings, and it will be a better place. So cultural feminism fight that women are better than men. Last but not least is Black feminism. The Black feminist movement grew out of in response to the Black liberation movement and also the women's movement. So the Black feminism was founded to meet the needs of Black women who felt they were racially oppressed as a woman compared to the white women that began to access some rights. So the purpose of the movement was to develop theory which could adequately address the way race, gender, and class were interconnected. Okay, then we move to the reaction toward feminism in US. So we have here pro-feminism and anti-feminism. So different groups of people has responded to feminism, and both men and women have been among its supporters and critics. However, in United States, its media tends to portray feminism negatively. And okay, we have here pro-feminism. Pro-feminism is the support of feminism movement from the society, whether the supporter is a member of the feminist movement or not. For example, the men itself. They usually supported activities such as anti-violence against women campaign and also gender equality in school. So they also usually tend to join the demonstration done by the feminists. So feminism can be seen as a movement to put an end to sexism, sexist exploitation, and oppression, and it is so to achieve full gender equality in law and also in practice. So the opposite to pro-feminism group, we have anti-feminism group. So in the 19th century, anti-feminism was mainly focused on opposition to women's suffrage, as it's against their culture and norms, which came from both men and women. For example, women's entrance into institution of higher learning considered as a waste for them compared to the boy, because they said that after get married, women will be only stay at the kitchen. So aside from that, there also why they become anti-feminist because they might be misunderstand the real concept of feminism due to some irrelevance or imperfections experienced from the extreme feminists, which they might be trauma or hated it. Thank you. That's all from me.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Narjwa Ashikin binti Azhar. I'm going to proceed with this reading, which is the wave of feminism, the feminist figure, and the impact of feminism. Before I proceed with the next slides, I would like to explain that in the wave of feminism, it was divided into three phases, which is called the first wave, second wave, and the third wave. First of all, what is the first wave feminism? The first wave of feminism happened in the late year of 1800s in the United States, whereby they began to promote suffrage for women. The first wave of feminism began at the Seneca Falls Convention in 1848. It was the first of many women's rights conventions in the country. The first wave feminists mainly fight for equal rights, which is the right for women to take part and vote in politics. The feminists realized that they must first gain political power, which is including the power to vote, to make the change to the women, and their political agenda expand to the issue concerning sexual, reproductive, and economic matters. In 1920, women in the United States were granted the right to vote. Next, the second wave of feminism that took place in 1960 until 1980. So what is the second wave feminism? The second wave feminism took place alongside many other social movements, including the fight for civil rights. Some key ruling and gender equality legislation were passed during the time of second wave feminism, which is the Equal Pay Act of 1963 and Roe vs. Wade. The second wave of feminism began because of a competition called Miss America pageant that happened in 1688 and 1699, whereby in this competition a woman was presented as cattle to emphasize and highlight that the way the woman looks are more important from the way they act. So this event made the feminists in America and other countries become angry and they tried to stop this event. The feminists wanted to prove to the world that woman is an equal creature, same as man, and after all those events, the idea of women's rights and equality started to become the world interest. However, this side often dismissed as offensive with middle-class white woman problem, and many women during the second wave were initially part of black civil rights movement, and others fight for equality. In second wave of feminism, the feminists mainly fight for these few things, which is equal pay for equal work, sexuality and reproductive rights, the rights of women at workplace, women's role as wife and mother, and inequality for women in relationship. As you can see in this video, this is example of the situation during the second wave of feminism. Another organization that also being established during this time was Black Women Organized for Action (BWOA) and the National Black Feminist Organization (NBFO). These both organizations wanted to bring gender and racism into national consciousness. Next is the third wave feminism, which happened in 1990 until the year of 2000. In the third wave of feminism, Rebecca Walker has been regarded as one of the prominent voices of the third wave feminism. They start to spread their ideas of feminism by new methods and way of technology like TV, magazine, radio, and also website. In the early 1990s, Anita Hill's case against Clarence Thomas, along with the publication of Naomi Wolf's The Beauty Myth, spurred a new wave of feminism in the United States. Some key legislation relating to gender was passed during this time, which is Family and Medical Leave Act, Violence Against Women Act, and United States versus Virginia Act. Therefore, it can be understood that the third wave of feminism are dominated by postmodern thinking people, and this wave was about the acceptance and a true understanding on the term of feminism. Next, we move on to the top important figure in the history of feminism in United States. First of all, Mary Wollstonecraft, a feminist philosopher and also an English writer. During her time as part of feminists, she mainly fight for gender inequality. In 1792, Mary challenged Rousseau's theories about how women were inferior in her writing titled A Vindication of the Rights of Women. Her book titled A Vindication of the Rights of Women has distinguished her presence in the world of feminist literature, and therefore made her as one of the most important figures in the history of feminism. Next, Elizabeth Cady Stanton. She was a catalyst for the women's rights movement in 1848, and she was the one who planned the first women's rights convention that took place in Seneca Falls in the state of New York. Elizabeth Cady Stanton was also one of the most prominent voices in the feminism movement. She and Susan B. Anthony published a women's rights newspaper called The Revolution. The newspaper frequently published editorials forcefully opposed to abortion. These women viewed abortion as a depraved consequence of society failure to recognize the value of women. Therefore, she called it a crying evil. Therefore, as one of the most important feminist figures, she strongly appealed for equal treatment of women. Next, Sojourner Truth. Her speech "And I a Woman" had given a big impact to the society, whereby she courageously fought for gender inequality and racial discrimination. In her speech, she also advocated for black women inclusion in the suffrage movement. She delivered this speech at Women's Rights Convention in Ohio. Later, she worked in Washington, D.C. before returning to her home in Michigan, where she passed away in 1883. Moreover, she was the first African American woman that won a lawsuit in the United States, whereby she had won the fight to have her son returned to her from his life after his imprisonment as a slave. Next, Betty Friedan. Betty Friedan was an author, an activist, and also one of the most iconic figures for the American feminist movement. Her best-selling book of 1963, titled "The Feminine Mystic," breathed new life into the cause. She also organized the Women's Right for Equality, which gave voting rights to the women. Betty Friedan, the feminine mystic, is often said to have kicked off second wave feminism in the United States. In 1966, Friedan was co-founded the National Organization for Women and many other organizations, which she fight for women. It is to ensure her legacy would live on after she passed away. Next, Simone de Beauvoir. She was a French writer and a philosopher, and also a prominent feminist figure. Her book, titled The Second Sex, is a powerful call for women to grasp freedom and independence, and insists that economic independence is an essential precondition for social and existential freedom. Her famous sentence, "One is not born, but rather becomes a woman," it is starting point for detailed description of becoming a woman. Overall, it can be said that her book titled The Second Sex is a powerful call for women to grasp freedom and independence. Next, move on to the impact of feminism, which is divided into three aspects. First, in politics, second, in health, and third, in education aspect. First, the impact in politics. Women are able to occupy the position, especially in political area. For example, they are able to become presidents, minister, diplomatic, and parliament member. There are many international organizations, also local organizations, that give women opportunity to show their abilities to affect and change the political fields. For example, the organizations such as Women's Rights Organization, United Nations Development Programme, and the National Democratic Institute. Second, the impact of feminism in health aspect. So, feminism from the beginning was focused on taking care of women by prioritizing their health. It is because women has the most sensitive and fragile body structure. In the United States, the Office of Women's Health promotes health justice for women through gender-specific approach. Society start to realize the importance and necessity of educating females not only for her benefits but also for the development of society in all the domains. Therefore, majority parents start to let their children, especially girls, to go to school and study. By improving the education capacity for women can lead to build a better society for future generations. In conclusion, by the coming of feminism, women was able to change their life. Most importantly, feminism able to provide women with complete equality. This proved that women also capable to play important roles as same as the men. That's all from us. Thank you.